Hello everyone, my name is Shankamuffin for all who don't know, and today I'll be showing you all some RuneLite plugins that potentially can improve your experience here for old school RuneScape. The first plugin I have, which is going to be hated by some, is animation smoothing. Basically, what this plugin does is make the animations for your player, NPCs, and objects appear more fluid. Some players dislike it because it's disgusting looking, but for me, I prefer to have nice crisp animations when I'm doing Slayer, as well as just doing anything that requires an animation to be used. I feel that it's pretty nice to have, as well as it makes my experience here a lot more enjoyable, which this plugin easily transitions into the next plugin. Did you know that FPS can be changed on RuneLite? Providing more frames per second, making animations even better looking and consistent. Under the FPS Control plugin, you can cap your frame rate to 50. I wish it was 60, but that just doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon. Oh well. Still, 50 FPS is still nice. For my settings, I have both the unfocused and global FPS set to 50, as well as all the boxes are left unchecked. To me, the FPS Control is one of the greatest additions ever here on old school RuneScape. If you're like me, you can't remember the entirety of having your gear loadout and inventory loadout situated for Chambers of Xeric. Well, with bank tags, you'll never forget again. This allows you to see the necessary gear that you need for the activity that you've identified these items with, and it's very simple for you to set up. Step 1. Enable bank tags plugin, ensure both squares are checked off. Step 2. Click the plus button at the top left corner of your bank. Step 3. Name the tag. Step 4. Right-click on the icon and click Change Icon. Type into the search function the item you wish to identify the activity with. Step 5. Right-click and click Change Icon for when you found an appropriate icon. Step 6. Ensure that you're fully geared for this activity, as well as have all the needed items in your inventory. Step 7. Go back to the appropriate tag that you've created just a few moments ago. Step 8. Where you would deposit your inventory button, right-click on this and click Tag Inventory and Tag Equipment. Congratulations, you have fully completed setup for this activity you wish to do, which decreases banking time, which results in you playing the game more quickly. You can do this for any activity as well. Chambers, Godward's Dungeon, Zulrah, Arty Nights. If you need a loadout, you can create bank tags for it. If you're like me and are in an active and busy clan chat or receive a lot of private messages, it's great to know when exactly someone has messaged you or has sent a message in the chat. With the chat timestamps plugin, you'll be able to see when exactly chat messages have been sent. As you can see, you can make the timestamps more noticeable by changing the color, as well as formatting how you want the time to be set up. For me, I prefer military time, or in everyone else's case, the standard format of time that isn't in the United States. Remember back in the day when you wanted to get a dragon scimitar as your mouse cursor? Well, you now have the availability of doing that without going on any sketchy websites. RuneLite provides a variety of different mouse cursors that you can use. If none of them are doing it for you, you can also add your very own custom one. So be sure to use that Dragon Skimmy, or in my case, I prefer the RS3 Silver, which I think it looks really nice, but that's just me. After you've found your world that has the lowest ping, make sure to set up as your default world. That way, whenever you're logging back into RuneLite, after fully closing out the program, you're automatically set to that low ping world. For me, I use world 354 as it works best for me. As for you guys, that might be different depending on where you are with the servers and everything. So look around with the world switcher on RuneLite to see which world has the lowest ping for you. Alright guys, we're coming up on the best RuneLite plugin that's ever created for us to play old school RuneScape. The GPU plugin. This plugin has improved my gameplay tenfold, knowing I can be utilizing my powerful GPU, making my client render a lot of assets. My draw distance is set to 90, which is the highest, which allows me to see vast landscapes here in Gilnor. I have removed color banding unchecked, I have anti-aliasing disabled, and UI scaling set to bicubical, cap mule ROM, and my fog depth is 10. Numerous times this plugin has come in handy, both setting marked tiles and chambers for myself for indicators before going into a room, as well as seeing what's ahead of me, knowing that I'm looking for a particular structure for a clue scroll or maybe a quest or something else. The GPU plugin is the most powerful tool there is. If you have a decent PC, I recommend having this enabled whenever you play. It will make your gameplay so much more enjoyable, and I will say this guys, very highly recommend getting this enabled, and figuring out what settings work best for you. You may have seen videos where player screens blink red randomly. It's actually the idle notifier that's in use. This creates a sound and displays to you how your character is AFK. For me, I have all boxes checked except the idle movement box. With these other 3 boxes, the animation, interaction, and logout, I will be notified when my character has stopped these actions or I'm about to be logged out of old school RuneScape. I have my notification delay set to 1000 milliseconds, which means for every 1 second that occurs without me doing an action, I will be notified. As a reminder, every 1000 milliseconds is equal to 1 second. So if you want a 5-second delay, input 5000 milliseconds. You can also set the notifier if your prayer reaches a certain level of drainage, how much HP you have remaining, your special attack, and oxygen when you're underwater. A very useful plugin, guys. Also keep in mind, RuneLite needs to not be in focus in order for this notification to work. So you need to be using another program such as Google Chrome, Microsoft Word, or maybe you're playing another game. Ever wanted to see what the map layout looks like for the instance you're in? With Instance Map you can. Right click on your world map and click Instance Map. You will be able to see the instance you are in. It's sometimes helpful, but for me, I really have only used it for Chambers of Xeric, trying to see the layout of vanguards to ensure that this is a good room layout. It's something I just discovered and I feel not many people know about, so hopefully you guys can utilize it as well, and you won't be as lost as me concerning what vanguard room I have. If you're like me, I like my interfaces to be a little more modern. With interface styles, I have my interface set up as if it's style of RuneScape back from 2010, which is why I have this look for my inventory, armor, quest tab, and everything else. For me, I have high detailed menu checked and RuneScape cross sprites checked as well. Overall, I like this visual as it works for me of how I want my game to function. If you're a person that has 10 buttons on your mouse, you may find key remapping good for you. Key remapping allows you to remap your keys for camera movement as well as your F keys. Camera movement, this allows you to move your camera with WASD or WASD, making it more modern as if it's other typical video games such as Counter-Strike for moving your character, or everything else that uses WASD, which is basically everything. So with that, guys, if you want to remap your keys, you can use this, and it's very helpful in other instances if you can't touch your F keys for some reason. So let's say, for example, F1 is your inventory and you're having a really difficult time making sure that you press F1 correctly. So you can actually remap your F1 key to be remapped to T or G or H or B, whatever it may be on your keyboard, making your fingers easier to reach those keys and allowing you to swap to your inventory a lot easier. So guys, if you want to do this, make sure you have remapped F keys enabled. One of the greatest plugins ever for RuneLite is the Menu Entry Swapper. Menu Entry Swapper swaps priorities of objects here in OSRS. For example, left-clicking going directly into Ohm Room, collecting Chinchampas when they are caught, and banking on bankers. These are the top priorities of interacting with these objects. There's a ton of entry swaps that this plugin does, allowing you not to have to right-click on the objects or NPCs you want to interact with. Overall, guys, instantaneously, this plugin needs to be enabled as soon as you get RuneLite, whenever you will get RuneLite, but I'm sure everyone has that already. So make sure that Menu Entry Swapper is enabled because this thing is amazing. And be sure to check out all the settings that this plugin has. For those that are looking to get the timing right on prayer flicks, which would be useful for general PVM content, the Metronome is for you. The plugin allows the automatic count of game ticks for you, allowing for prey flicking and Wooks Walking Warcath to be a breeze. It'll take some getting used to, but overall this plugin allows you to practice something that is often click intensive and difficult, and it provides help in order for you to get these prey flicks timed correctly. So if you're doing anything that involves very prey intensive content such as Inferno, you'd probably check out the Metronome to help keep you on track when you're trying to negate as much damage as possible on those NPCs. NPC Indicators is a useful plugin for those that are looking to tackle the Inferno or search for specific monsters in a set area. This plugin highlights the monsters you specify, and you could add the tiles that these monsters take up. Useful for shimming monsters in Inferno to get them aligned a certain way, as well as making sure that you can see your targets clearly if you're searching for a specific monster. For example, back when the Koren Diary was released, I highlighted the gang boss when I was doing the gang activity, so they can easily see where the gang boss is with all these other players as well as with the other NPCs. So I can instantly attack the gang boss so I can get the intelligence and get that diary completed. Screenshots plugin is a great memory saver. I use this daily. As with this plugin, RuneLite takes pictures as soon as the conditions that you specify take place. For example, for me, I take pictures whenever I receive an untradeable drop or anything that is valued at over 100,000. There are a lot of options to this, and I especially love to have screenshots taken when my clan members die in chamber. Overall, a very useful plugin to hold all of your memories onto. Also, it's account bound with its own folder, and it's easy to get to as well. All you have to do is right click on the screenshot icon at the top of RuneLite and click open screenshot folder. Then all of your pictures will load and they'll be in their own little category as well. Well guys, that's all the tips I have for today. And as always, at the end of our videos, I just want to say thank you to our channel membership supporters, Kevin Ace and Nothing YT. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. It is very much so appreciated, and I hope to see you guys around for a very long time. Anyways guys, my name is Shagamuffin. I'm signing out. Please enjoy this outro.